My GTA Online 2018 wish list. What do I want to see come out this year? I don't know how many people are interested, but here it is. Maybe if you guys do like some of the stuff I mentioned, you could drop the video a like or share it with Rockstar, because Rockstar seems to have listened to the community with some of the past DLCs, so maybe they'll listen to some of us with what we want in 2018. And actually, before I hop into my list, let me know in the comment section what's on your wish list for 2018. The first thing that I want, and I don't know if they will do it, but I want a way to call cars instantly through the interaction menu, just like we can do with bikes. I don't know about you guys, but calling the mechanic is so freaking annoying. One, because there's so many damn contacts, you got to scroll through so many of them to get to them. Sometimes you end up calling the wrong person. I know I call Merriweather half the time on accident because I'm not really looking at my phone. I'm just sort of trying to do it quickly while I'm maybe getting shot at or something. Whereas, like, you know, if I was calling a bike, it's just boom, 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 3 steps, instantly have my bike next to me. But then you also have to wait for your mechanic. Sometimes he doesn't drive it, or sometimes he doesn't spawn it near you. He spawns at some other places. Sometimes he just don't even answer. You're like right next to a road and he's like, sorry, can't get there. It's like, why? So I want a way to call cars instantly through the interaction menu, whether that be some sort of new CEO mechanic or just some new mechanic that they add in the vehicle section. You know, make it where we have to own some new property that we can put maybe 10 or 5 vehicles in that are our favorite vehicles, and those are the only ones we get to call. And maybe if they're worried about it becoming too overpowered, you could put some sort of limit on it, or you could put some sort of stipulation that it can't be weaponized vehicles. I'm fine with that. I just want a way to call some of my supercars and sport cars that I've bought instantly, because it's really annoying when I either have to go back to my garage or I have to call my mechanic to get those vehicles to drive around. That's why I end up using the Oppressor a lot, because I can call it instantly and it's one of the best vehicles in the game. So I really want that for cars. I believe the reason we have a weight limit on our mechanic in delivering vehicles was because they didn't want stuff to be overpowered back in the day. They didn't want you to be able to get away quickly or something. But again, all that's thrown out the window because we have it for the bikes. And look at G2 Line now. Like, everything's overpowered. So give us a way to quickly call some vehicles, and that's really what I want the most out of 2018. The next thing, and this may be something that is heavily debated in the comment section, but I kind of want no passive mode for all weaponized vehicles. And the reason I say this is mainly because of the freaking people in the Hydra, or the people in aircraft that just go around griefing everyone. What they'll end up doing, they'll grief you when you're not expecting it, but then when you go and try and kill them, they'll just go into passive mode, so you can't kill them. And then they'll just wait until you get bored. And then once you get bored and you're not expecting it, they'll come back and grief you. And I feel like that shouldn't happen. Now, the unfortunate part about this is that people, you know, that are good, that just like driving some of the weaponized vehicles around, you wouldn't be able to go into passive mode, which means you would probably die a lot more. But I think it's a fair trade-off, because if you're in a weaponized vehicle, you should be ready to fight, you know? I guess what would make this better is if Rockstar gave all weaponized vehicles the option to become unweaponized. But I just feel like that's a pretty broken mechanic that people abuse, well, that really griefers abuse, and it's just so frustrating to deal with, because there really is no way to deal with it. So not allowing people in Hydras or Hunters or any of the vehicles, you know, that are weaponized to go into passive mode, I think that would change the way griefers operate and play the game. Another thing I want on my wish list is for better payouts for associates and bodyguards. Now, I'm not really ever playing as an associate or a bodyguard. I really only play as a CEO or MC, but I never really have associates or bodyguards because the payouts are so low. I mean, that's why whenever you go into a public lobby, you see nothing but like one-person organizations. And that's because even if you're friends or you're in someone's crew, you don't want to play as an associate or a bodyguard because the pay just is not good at all. I know recently they've been doing a lot of double payouts or double money for the associates and the bodyguards, but even that's not good enough. And I know they don't want the bodyguards and the associates to make a ton of money because they're not putting up the costs and all that. But I just feel like it sucks a lot for people who have friends who want to play the game together, but they end up getting screwed so they don't play the game. I mean, what is the payouts now? I think it's like the max you can get is 10,000 or 15,000 every 10 minutes, maybe. That's horrible. I just feel like having better payouts for the associates and the bodyguards would get more people to play the game that don't have as much money. Like if you're a low-level player, or if you're just a player that doesn't have, $6 million, $5, $10 million, $15 million, you may be willing to play as an associate or a bodyguard to rack up some money if you got paid a decent amount. I know that one probably won't happen just because of shark cards, but it's just something I wish they would do. Now with these next 4 topics, these are the DLCs I want to see this year. And I'm only leaving it at 4 because I feel like 4 is probably the amount that they're going to do. I think actually last year we only got 3 major ones at least, but 4 DLCs this year that I want to see. The first one, something to do with mansions. I know it's technically not a DLC, but I want mansions in a DLC. I don't know if that would require some new business that we'd have to operate or whatever the case may be, but I want mansions. But I want mansions with new mini games. What happened to the fun mini games, man? That was in GTA 4 and some of the older GTA games. No one wants to play tennis. No one wants to play golf. No one wants to freaking arm wrestle or play darts. Like, what happened to bowling? What happened to the air hockey stuff? Pool. There's some really fun mini games out there that they could add to the game if we purchased mansions. And I know GTA is not a game about customizing where you live and all that, but I personally love doing that sort of stuff in other games. So giving us more customization, not just one sort of, blanket customization option like the apartments, but picking which room does which, what stuff you want in each room in terms of looks, I don't know, just stuff like that. I think, 1, they could make it cost a lot because it's a freaking mansion, and then 2, it would give people like me and other people like me that, are pretty much looking to do something new. It would give us something new, and it would be a fitting end game reward, I believe. Mansions, I know jetpacks just came out, a lot of people wanted them, but jetpacks were kind of a letdown. So mansions, like, that's sort of the final thing that you might want, in GTA. So some sort of mansions in a DLC, that's what I want, number 1. Number 2, I want a police DLC. Doesn't need to be specifically police. Like, they could combine it with some other stuff, but I want to go into the interaction menu and I want to become a freaking police officer. I'll buy a police station, I'll buy a safe house, I'll buy all kind of stuff. I'll spend millions upon millions of freaking dollars to become a police officer. I want customizable police cars. They're already in the game. You can customize them if you have mods. So why can't we do that? There's all kind of cool outfits that they could add. You can do undercover stuff. The missions could involve you stopping other players without blowing them up, without exploding stuff. I want a police DLC. Don't know what that would require from Rockstar, but I want a freaking police DLC. I've been wanting it since the start. Cops and Crooks was one of my most played modes in GTA 4, and I don't want that to be an adversary mode. I want that to be a full-fledged DLC in online. Another one I want, and this is something that probably won't happen, but I think it could be a fun DLC, and it's different too. An improved survival mode. Now, I'm not sure how many people even know that there's a survival game mode in the game. I forget what it really entails. I know it's, like the name suggests, you surviving a bunch of waves of enemies, but I haven't played it in a while, and I feel like they could update that. But they could make it so much better. I mean, look, we have so many new weaponized vehicles in the game, right? So you can incorporate them. If you open up the playable areas in those survivals, you could almost make it somewhat like a zombie survival or an alien survival. I mean, imagine picking some part of the map and there's either zombies or aliens that you have to survive against. Kind of like Call of Duty zombies. And you have to go around maybe finding weapons or, I don't know, buying vehicles. I don't know how exactly the fine details would work, but some sort of improved survival mode with either zombies or aliens, because that's something people seem to like with all of the new weaponized stuff in the game. I think that'd be really fun. And it'd be something different than just all the free roam stuff that's in the game. And then the final thing, drift racing. Something that you may know about if you follow GTA on PC is 5M. It's basically this like modded version of online that people do all kind of crazy stuff in. A lot of people role play in it, but there's also these drifting servers, and it basically changes the handling of all the vehicles in the game. Now, how this would work in online, it wouldn't really work in free roam. Like, I don't think they could add these vehicles to free roam, but what they could do is make it a race. Just like we have stunt races, like we have the transform races, like we have regular races, give us drift races where the tracks are specifically made and the handling is completely different on the vehicles. So you are drifting around like you do in those drift mods. Now, is that realistic? Probably not, but it's fun. Drifting that stuff is fun. So having like an actual drift race would be awesome. I think that's a little small DLC they could add in between some of the bigger ones, just like they had the Cunning Stunts update that came out, I believe, last year or 2 years ago. So that's my wish list. That's what I want to see. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of my wish list, and let me know your wish list as well. Like I said, if you liked anything that I brought up, then you could drop the video a like. Maybe Rockstar sees it and, you know, add something to the game. But anyway, that is it. Thank you all. Subscribe for more awesome GTA content, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.